All right, y'all, thanks for coming out. Thank you, Eric. Excited to be here, excited to be in the city. Not sure if I can adequately fulfill the mysterious guy living with his cat in the woods aesthetic. There is a hot tub there, so it's really not as weird little fragments. Essentially, the starting poem of my set, I was looking through all the poems that are sort of my and this is my 3 days old, what season are we in? Scorpio, that's wrong. Okay, epistle. Since we last spoke, I have retired from writing on beauty. Instead, I am making decisions that will likely break my heart in newer, better ways. Yes, this entails agreeing to wake up when the sun leans through the window. Yes, entails pounding my hooves against Earth's flattening face until a single green sprig pushes its tiny leaf through my hoof split. You, I imagine, are also pounding your respective earth, also hooved and faced and sprigged. You, in this moment, have come to mean, I made this mistake. You, in this moment, have come into new meaning. Less person, now simply eyes scalpel, sequence pronounced through corruption over time. What I'm saying is that I've sequestered each letter of the old familiar word into archive. I've distanced my need to prove that separating the you from the I in any poem, any breath, is more than just wasteful preoccupation. I agree, we should probably all cease toiling in abstract genres of looking at self and other. Instead, we should swim. We should paint lilies on the rock circling the base of the most twisted madrona, wait for the pigment to wash off with the rain. If that doesn't do it, we could try indexing everyone we've ever wronged and rank them in order of deservedness. We could even, maybe, mistake our shared lucidity for connection and naturally take a few breaks to continue pounding the earth, this time more fervently than before, hard enough to wrinkle Earth's face silly, crack open crevice and crust and structure and form and weight. I can't finish the scene without entering a surrealism that I don't believe in anymore. I defer, would much prefer to recollect my most fevered dream, haywired fantasy, and ask you to do the same. Yes, I'm bidding for a hand in the image's fulfillment. I'm so relentlessly stuck in my words these days. It's really a shame. Repository account named Ask Garison, but has recently transitioned to Ask Resurrection, spelled slightly incorrectly. And it's sort of been, for me, this personal practice of like, what would I think it's been a practice of relating to responding to impulse without feeling inhibited by the prospect of reception or witness. So essentially what I did is I went back through this account and I printed out all of the fragments from it, and then at Rondo before this, while I was eating food, I cut them all up, and I'm gonna just pull 5 between each poem randomly and read them. So, when people ask me what I'm doing for my birthday, I tell them I am minding my own business. It was once all a friend to me. Now, as I listen to cozy ketamine playlist in bed, I recognize that it is not. Under different sheets, in a different state, with a different screen, we are no longer friends. We, meaning the all, are no longer friends. I'm coming back from this trip to New Jersey with a renewed and stronger sense of New Jersey patriotism, which, let it be known, has absolutely nothing to do with America. The flag I stand for is Taylor ham, banging a Yui on the New Jersey Turnpike, the combination Dunker Donut and Kennedy Fried Chicken, the Perth Amboy waterfront. I stand for all the 811s and 712s and all their slushies too. I stand for dirty water dogs. I had a better relationship with New Jersey last time I went because I didn't see my family. And I appreciated their hot dogs. Oh, so this one actually will tether back to the line where this is. I would prefer to be redolent with not living in a brain anymore when I should be living in a body. And then final one. If my eyes were blue, it would be so much harder to be absolved of my sins. Sorry. All right, so I have a short poem. It's called Fairy Practice of every time I am in a physically transitory space, I write just a micro sort of like postcard poem. Ferry from Anacortes to Friday Harbor. It's been days since we spoke. I am looking at popcorn. I am eating my food. I am drinking my drink. I've rejected your invitation so I can extend my own. Many people that I would recognize would not recognize me today. If it all went down, the ship, I mean, how would we find each other in the darkness of the sea? Would the moon guide us? Or if it was cloudy, would we distinguish each other's voices, each other's cries? You tell me my eyes are always wide, like I've seen something horrifying. I know there is great horror in the universe, and I'm wanting to write about it. All the men on this boat, or at least the people I have categorized as men, look the same. I eat because I cannot bear to be hungry. I stare at my reflection in the galley window, and I am afraid. Every sign except Taurus is a red flag and should ever to repent for their deep character flaws publicly. I don't stand by that today, but I did once. Who gets the body and who gets the brains? Does anyone get both? Anatomically, not talking about positive attributes here, talking about where we have to live. Yes, it's evil. I've told you before and I'll tell you again. Messier than I thought. I wanted to have these in a cocktail glass initially with like looking like shrimp cocktail and then there was cocktail sauce in the middle, but turns out that's a logistic. Honey mustard latte, anyone? Ceaseless revolt against what you love as your fate. All right, one more poem, or two more, I guess, in this section. Okay, so this one is called La Vie en Rose, which I can't claim to know French, but it's a song. And it's sort of annoyingly repetitious, so buckle in. La Vie en Rose. Bulbs in the garden, freshly planted bulbs in the shoulder season. The crows chewed them up the very next day off the porch that you cleared so we could watch the fireworks, so you could watch the fireworks that we were supposed to watch together. Now is not the time, but what else is there to do with the thyme and the garden and the fern that just arrived yesterday, already smelling of rot? All not no, not you, not your edge or my edge, not asking each other to be gentle with the edge, which by nature resists gentleness. Then the nights outside, with lanterns still set up from the solstice's festivities, pure space, pure illumination of each object's edge, Light creating new edges in each object. Yes, that must be how edges are made. I understand now. Nothing stopped it from rolling away. The pomegranate off the counter, then to the floor, past the point of recollection. I wasn't hungry anymore, but I knew wherever it was, the fruit, it was lucid and alive and rolling, still rolling out of eye's edge, off counter's edge, so many edges it must have rolled past without my knowing. Now, light's fashioning so many lines and corners that even the moon tonight is made of corners, points and edges resisting gestalt understanding, but still a complete moon in a way I'd never seen before. Yes, I am still unabashed in my urge to know what I shouldn't, but I have manners, so I don't ask. Instead, all day I do things. I name and I sleep and I rename and I sleep more, and all day it's no use. All the things I do, the edges are still there. Without touch, without force, without ask, you know why me and why my edge and why you and your edge too, and why now the edges we have to share. Yes, a prodding. It must have been some sort of prodding. Yes, I wanted. Yes, I was wrong for that. I guess it wouldn't have had the sound if it was in a shrimp cocktail jar. I've been sleeping in the feng shui death position, foot of bed facing door, for almost 3 years. 7 minutes off my life from a cigarette doesn't scare me. Self-soothing with a freezer-burned hot pocket. The whole time I thought I was Eros, but I was actually Psyche. Love is not death, love is not death, love is not death, love is not death. Oh, to be swayed into irresponsibility by my own beauty. I thought art was helping me process my hard emotions, but my therapist said I fixate through artistic creation because I'm addicted to tearing at my own wounds.
That's fucked up.
That's a funny one, you can laugh. My daddy issues are not tethered to a human parent, they are tethered to God. All right, one more poem in this set. I'm trying to stay hydrated, but these straws are so tiny. I guess I could just drink straight in, but something's wrong about them. All right, this one's called I'll Spare You the Details. I want to be treated like a stupid man, but I urine like Dostoevsky and Sappho combined, which is all to say the psychiatric medication is warranted. Your name is everywhere because it's a common name, not because God meant anything by it. I say God, but I don't believe in anything I cannot see, and even what I can see, I seldom buy into. If you read my work, you'd know I pretend to be in love with a statue 2,000 miles away with too little animation to love me back. That's not what I want anyway. I want to live well. I want to be happy in the conventional sense of the word, like every good tourist does. But I can't believe in happy these days because I'm a poet, and I'm convinced that when I find happy, I'll lose the poems. I am deeply invested in puncturing things that God has told me not to touch, which is why I can't grasp the idea of inappropriateness when I am the one with less power. I want to ask, do you sleep? At the right times, I mean. Have you seen me in a dream? Do you know I go somewhere else when I see your name, even tethered to a different human? I don't mean to romanticize you, or anyone for that matter, just to say that your voice has made me lose track of centuries. Someone once loved me like that, and I could have loved her back if I wasn't too fixated on devastating myself. It seemed, in the moment, the more responsible thing to do. perception. Which is actually a temporary title. I just haven't come up with a better one yet. And J is Jasmine, who's back there. Unperception. The knife's dull edge against my thumb, sharp side carving grooves into the stick. No purpose to the creation, just another way to toil while the sun's position remains indeterminate. Today, Jay calls the cloud a finger, and because she says so, it becomes one. Pink buds burst around the perimeter of the porch. I trap a spider dangling overhead, loose it into a pile of leaves. As they open to accept it, I know it is free from my perception forever, and thank God, for the hours it dangled, I had become too capable of attributing human thoughts, human emotions to the insect. It was exhausting. There are moments like this that I wonder how you'd fit into. In these moments, the imaginary you takes my picture, draws me with charcoal. I become the object for once, if not only to assuage the guilt of writing this poem. The indents that the knife gives to the stick are now only small aesthetic geometries. When I sketch the cloud, it is no longer a finger, but a shape and some smudges. I wonder if that's how you perceive me too, all shape and smudge. If so, is it enough to keep us both occupied? In my fantasizing, I lose track of the sun, and without the sun, where would it all be? The fog's finger, the rosebuds erupting from their prior containment, the knife's bite. Without sun, without season, without days, would they be unblossomless, unburst or barren? Would the cloud unstretch, the knife unwhittle? Some ass lines. Oh man, in all caps ones.
Yes.
I let what move me moves me, and it is not always right. Please don't spoil me with praise. I'll piss myself and not in a hot way. I had a night of the past, but when I woke up, nothing hurt anymore. I don't know if I'm ready for that one. It involves Drano. I really love mozzarella sticks you could never understand. Report, I've transcended the agony and ecstasy cycle. Alright, so this is maybe my most, does anyone know any euphemisms for unhinged? It's not a rhetorical question. Alright, this is maybe my most chaotic poem of the evening, so bear with me. And I've been doing this, I've been calling them line warps. It's essentially like when a line gets stuck in your brain and the brain sort of like bounces it around and like echoes it to the point where you don't remember the actual line, but you remember sort of these iterations or variations of the line. And I've started to allow myself to use line warps in poems. So this one has 2 line warps. One is from Simon Shea's poem, and the original line is, "The train car is redolent of history." And the second line warp is from a Margaret Atwood poem, who, not favorite, but this poem, Pig Song, just read her pig poem. The line is, "If you feed me garbage, I will sing a song of garbage." It's a good one. There's another line in that poem that I love. It's, "At least I have the sky, which is only half caged." It's a pig through, the fence. All right, so this one's called, it has a running title. It runs into the poem. It's called "Dear I," like, because you can't see it on paper, the pronoun and then the I. Yes, hook, yes, wire bend. Dear I, yes, hook, yes, wire bend. A sliver of twine, an ellipsis of fruit flies toward a sweet red plum, a confiscation of what you remember, of what they remember, of what remember you of you or them, or of the memory itself of memory. The fruit flies, the plum, the wire bend and wire spine, and memory, and the entire confiscation, like I said, of everyone's memory, because if mine is gone, then what of anyone else's? What use, if not in me, then can't be in you, or if not to prove through the eye the holding of a thing, then the thing cannot be held. But you say in you, and so if in you, you say, must be in I too, and then must be held again the thing. It came out of me, yes, the hooked wire, the bloody plum, all the insects I could imagine when the empire was where it is now, or before it was now where it was, but wherever it was and is now, it came out then, and then when it came out, was or where were less important than the whole from which it came. How miraculous for there to have been a hole for it to have, and how beautiful and full of holes I am. Have you heard about the revolt against love? Have you heard of the train car redolent with history? Have you heard about the pig singing its song of garbage, which it would or would not sing if it were or were not prior filled with what languaged into garbage for reasons I am unable to understand? I was never able to just go on with my life. No, not after this, not after the this before this, or this before this, or the before this before, I was never able to just go on. So I started ending, then starting again, then ending and again starting, and again, just like this, starting and ending, so I didn't have to go. There was just the resolve and the ignition, ready to turn again into infinite plums and flies and wires. And in the beginning, the possibility felt like an antidote to love. But in the end, the same possibility kept relanguaging the apple core and orange rind and scraps of me and the flies around them for reasons I could not understand. Meanwhile, the whole time, tree, fir, hummingbird sucking any sugar water it could find, light existing ingredients through the foliage's canopy. I notice when I look at the flower you said blooms every 8 years, sometimes 4 if lucky. I notice the 3 large rocks with dirt crusted glamorously up their sides. I notice the barn's glass door shattering line by line after a stone kicked up through the wood chipper. The door's threshold, now glassless after days of threatening to be glassless, is finally unimpeded in its demonstration of perfect balance between sun and shadow. The whole time, the whole entire time, it came out of me, so I knew it was mine. Some Aslan's. Kind of knocked myself with that water. You know, when you shoot it straight to the back of the throat, and you're like, not okay for 30 seconds. Alright, I fixed it. Nice help suit. I pay attention and it's terrible. There is something that is, need I say, very good about mozzarella sticks. Nightly meditation music and aromatherapy with my own undeodorized armpits. What do you use to see? Please stop washing your dirty sheets in my washing machine, heart. I need a brief moment so I can wash the washing machine. My love language is compliments on enjambment. Bad things seem to happen when I care about things. 2 more. I am a beautiful man full of so many holes. Spent last night crossfaded on Prazosin and Drano. You should try it. Realized I can't die. I'm too important. When the patriarchy crumbles, the fathers must go, but the daddies must stay. I lied, that's more than 2. Is something wrong with me, or am I just a genius? Anyone else Google, is Ann Carson still alive every day just to make sure? Alright, my final poem of the night, which I have buried. I actually was so proud of myself today because this is the most organized my papers have ever been before a reading, but I actually realized that in my attempt to implement some sort of organization system through paper clips and then a larger clip, I was no longer, I couldn't access it because it wasn't chaotic until now. All right, this one is called auspicky, which I think 2 context word definitions. Aubade is a word for a poem that is written after a lover leaves the bed. And then auspicky, like auspicious, sort of like a prophecy word. Auspicky. I've told you I'm not through with desire. Even our deepest satiations foretell the obligation of Aubade. Once in the woods, you guided me to the trees you'd visit during the toughest years. We ran our fingers over their knotted trunks, their tangled roots, and tried to knead them loose. It became impossible to envision a single thread in the universe's armature that did not lead back to you. Yes, I can prove it. Every day we get to choose, without proper dialectic, which delusion to call reality. In this one, we are bedmates, and everyone outside is saying the world is ending. I trust the prophecy of the people the way I trust a cat's instinct to recede when proximal to death. So I too start saying the world is ending. Right before the end's completion, I imagine there will be one last beautiful thing. Perhaps a flower, a dragonfly, a smooth stone. Whoever finds it gets to decide its fate. And if anyone wants to take one of the remaining ass fragments from the cup home, you're welcome to grab one.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, thank you, Cass. Great, Cass Garrison, everybody. I just have to stand up here and say goodnight or else everyone looks at me weird. So thank you for coming. There's an Poetry newsletter if you want. Comes with like a blog and the local events calendar and then all the shit that I'm doing in a month. Next time we'll be back here for Poetry Lab is November 5th, and I believe that's with a dancer whose name I have not asked how to pronounce, but Shizong? Shizong. That should be really fun. Cool, I think that's all I got. The 2-camera system needs work, in case you want an update on that. Something weird happened with the one on the tripod, and I don't fucking get it. But, you know, whatever, at least it's on a tripod. What's up?
That's why you have 2.
Yeah, thanks Emma for that positive, on a positive note. Anyways, go to my YouTube, that's dumb. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.